Well, hello. Another bright day in Sydney, Australia. So we've been COVID free for over a month now, and which is good news. And the sun is shining, and it's a beautiful day. So I'm looking today at the heat shield issue that I had with the one that goes under the passenger on the left-hand side, under the passenger. I've got here the drawer slides that I'd bought quite some time ago, and then I said that I would probably make the seat pans. Now I've got issues where I don't have any holes at all, and I don't quite know where the slides should go, and also the heat shield panel on the underside was for a different model. So I've got my wooden slats, I've got my slides, I've got nuts, and this here this here is the seat pan, what's left of it. And I was actually going to make, and I've actually started drawing it up and thinking quite positively that I would do that, but I thought there's just so much missing information from that, and that's one side, and the other side is really only that marginal bit better. So looking at that, what's left of a seat slide here, and so I splurged myself and went out and bought some seat pans. I thought they were actually quite reasonably priced, so I got them from Kilmartins, who were actually very good. So the parcel arrived only a couple of days ago, so let's go and have a look and see what we've got, which is this lovely little package here. Okay, so we'll open that and just see what we've got. A bit like Christmas, isn't it? So I might have to bring you in differently because I'm just not sure that you can see what's going on. But anyway, let me just cut this open, and then we'll zoom in a bit more accurately. So, and I got a couple of other items as well, and all that. So, okay. Well, that looks great. You probably know what this is. This is the water pipe. I couldn't get the I can't even remember what size tube that is. I think that's 5/8, and I just couldn't get any, or I could, but it was extremely thin wall, whereas this is slightly thicker wall, and so with my bending it just wouldn't come, it was just collapsing, even though I filled it with sand, plugged it up, bent it, did all the right things, and I wasn't happy, because the wall on the plumbing ones was much thinner, even though this is obviously plumbing, but it just had a thicker wall, and I just couldn't seem to get that, so I ended up having to buy that. Also, this fellow, you might remember, I was going to make that, but they only cost about $6–7, and I thought, well, bugger me, I can buy one, make things happen. And I've got some blanking plates as well, which were just so damn cheap. And that's for the steering box, and that's for the passenger side where the steering box goes. So one for the outside, one for the inside. And again, so 4 of those. Yes, easy to make, but I mean, you know, for $10 each, they it just would save a lot of time. So, and then the other one is the pan for the other side, which is this fellow here. Now, I had a bit of confusion about left and right, so I'm sort of hoping that, yeah, they're opposite hand, because Kel Martins weren't very clear on that. You can see there this flat, so this is obviously 169R, 169L, meaning left side obviously, and so I have holes in them, and then so from that, I haven't done the seat backs because I thought the same thing. I would probably make that myself, but again, I saw they weren't overly expensive, and I'll look at that on at a later date. Let's take a look at the car. Oh, one other thing. Then, you know, because I don't have, whilst this now gives me the correct separation, it doesn't actually tell me where on the floor it goes. So I went to the Austin Healey channel because I looked at Carl. Let me bring you back up to me. These seat pans now are going to give me my distance, you know, in between. They still don't tell me the positioning on the floor. So I did a bit of research, and it just so happens that Carl on the Austin Healey channel, I think it was his Series 2 video 22, actually went through the positioning of that, and I don't have the carpet yet either, but if I actually follow what he did, take his measurements that he mentioned on there, and I wrote them down, but I will double check them again, and then what we can do is go out there and based on his measurements, because he had the original holes, and he still has the original holes, whereas I've got nothing. So let's position from that, and then to see how we go. He's got the same model, BN1, albeit I think 1 or 2 years earlier, because if I remember correctly, I think on his back axle he's got the spiral diff as against the hypoid, which a 5-stud, which is 5-stud. So he's got 4-stud, I've got 5-stud, and that's the difference between hypoid and bevel gear diff. The hypoid being heavier duty. Okay, let's take a look at the on my passenger side and just see where we go with that. Okay, so here we are. This is the seat pan, of course, the wooden flexible insert, okay, which will sit like so. The screw threads on this are U and F, just for anyone who might be interested to want to know. Now, the measurements that I got from Carl, because I don't have any holes and it's too hard to pull something apart, like a friend's BN1, to pull this seat apart to get the measurements. I've taken Carl's measurements. Now, he's saying, if I just lift this out of the way, you can see there how the slides go, and of course there's left hand set of slides and right hand, and it's all dictated by where this adjustable slide mechanism runs. Okay, so if I just move that out of the way for the moment. Okay, so what we've got is using this welded seam, you know, which seems reasonable. He's using that welded seam to take his measurements, and he's saying from this side, just make sure you can see that, from this side of the welded seam, he's got 50 millimeters. He's got 50 millimeters in. Okay, and then using this rule, his center of the first hole From there is about 223. So if I just move along a little bit, take my measurement at about 2. Okay, so if I mark up the 50 mil to start with, which is about there, with my trusty pen, and I just put a little dot there for my 50 mil. Okay, so this side of the edge, yes, 50 mil, double check, measure twice, drill once is the rule, and 223 up, 223 up is the center. Okay, so right there, that's where the first hole is. Now let me take the slide off, this slide to start with here. What's that, Rosie?
Hello.
I am. You want to see her, people? There she is. There's my best friend. Hang on. Here we go. There she is, everyone. Oh, where is she? She's I'm not sure what all that was about. But anyway, probably because I keep editing. I keep having to edit her out. What was it yesterday? Where's the, did I eat the last of the pastrami? Okay, so who ate the last of the pastrami? It wasn't me. I know nothing. Probably the cat. Okay, so where were we? Just zooming in. So there's my first pen mark. 50 mil in from that. 223 millimeters in from that. Now for you Yankees, you're going to have to work that out, what all that means. Okay, 223 from there. So there's my middle, and so we then go along that being the middle, and so keeping those at 50 mil up out of that. I'll just mark the center of those holes. Okay, and now make sure they're 50 mil. That'll keep me parallel. That way. Oh, that's spot on. Okay, and then finally this one here. So let me take you out a bit. And then this one over here. My camera work, I know, is terrible, and I do apologize for it, guys, but you know. And that one's just needs to go out a fraction. Okay, so a little circle around them, so I don't actually, I do that a lot actually on sheet steel, because quite often you get so many other little marks on it, you're liable to cut on the wrong marker. Okay, 3 holes to drill, and then we see where the heat shield sits. Now I don't know if there's a front and a back to these. That obviously that way must be. Okay, so back not so far, and forward. That seems to be. Okay, I just can't quite see where the stop is. The stop for these fellas. Anyway, it certainly feels like a dead stop. That little punch mark stops the ball bearing going down. And what else? Not too many ball bearings in there either. That's because that one there is sitting solid. That should go forward quite a bit more. And that steel ball there is see there, all the others are relatively loose. No, that one isn't either. Now that's interesting. No reason for that to sit there. And it should go just marginally more. Oh, that's awkward. I think I need to exercise those a bit more, but anyway. Point is that I'm not sure if there's a front and a back to these. Doesn't look like, because it's symmetrical. Okay, so long threads down, and that looks pretty good. So we can drill those right down. Let me get some tools.